Every generation holds a mirror, one that reflects what came before and reveals what is becoming. We inherit more than stories. We inherit posture, memory, wounds, and wisdom, and the unfinished work of those who walked ahead of us. When we look into the generational mirror, we see both resemblance and revision, the shape of what was passed to us, and the shape of what we're becoming. Every generation begins with echoes. Some arrive gently, the way a parent folds a blanket, the rhythm of a prayer, the cadence of a lullaby sung in a language that tastes like home. Some arrive with weight, the silence around certain memories, the caution learned from past harm, the resilience shaped by necessity and survival. Together, these echoes form the architecture of inheritance. They live in our gestures and our values, in our fears and our hopes, in what was spoken openly and what was carefully withheld. We carry the emotional geography of those who came before us, whether we recognize it or not, whether we choose it or not. It arrives with us, it shapes us, and eventually it asks us what we intend to do with it. What we do with it is revision. And revision is not rejection, it's evolution. The quiet courage to say, we honor what was given to us and we carry it forward differently. A daughter chooses honesty where her mother chose silence. A father chooses gentleness where his father chose distance. A community chooses inclusion where earlier generations chose exclusion. Each of these choices adds a new layer to the reflection. Each one changes the mirror slightly, not by erasing what came before, but by extending it, by deepening it, by making room for what the previous generation could not yet see. In that choice, something new becomes possible, and the mirror shifts. This act of revision, of honoring tradition while welcoming transformation, belongs to every people on earth. It doesn't require a particular language or landscape. It requires only the willingness to hold both the past and the future in the same set of hands. A family in the Andes teaches children to weave the patterns their ancestors created centuries ago and adds a new color to mark the present moment. A community in the Caribbean keeps alive a festival born of resistance and reshapes it to honor voices once overlooked. A village in Northern Europe preserves a winter ritual that has marked the season for generations and adapts it to welcome newcomers who now call that place home. Across continents, across languages, across landscapes, the mirror shifts. Tradition remains and it breathes. Memory remains and it expands. Identity remains and it grows. This is what generational continuity looks like when it's lived honestly. Not preservation for its own sake and not change for its own sake, but the shared human act of honoring what was carefully shaping what will be. 250 years give a young nation a mirror of its own, and the reflection's not simple. It holds courage and contradiction side by side, aspiration and unfinished work. The endurance of communities who carried the nation's ideals forward even when those ideals were not extended to them, who built, sustained, and believed in a promise that had not yet been fully kept. And it holds the revision of voices once pushed to the margins now stepping forward with clarity and strength, adding their verses to a song that was always meant to include them. America's reflection shifts with each generation that finds the honesty to ask, what do we keep? What do we change? And what do we finally understand that those before us could not? The measure of this anniversary lives not in the number itself, but in the clarity of the mirror we are willing to hold. So what do we see when we look into the generational mirror? We see resemblance, the threads of continuity that anchor us to those who came before. We see revision, the quiet courage to reshape what calls for reshaping, to extend what was always meant to be extended. And we see possibility, carrying echoes of us, making choices we cannot yet imagine, adding verses we have not yet written. The mirror asks for honesty and it asks for humility. It asks for the willingness to see ourselves clearly and offer the next generation a reflection worth inheriting. Because generations don't simply repeat the past, they reinterpret it. And in that reinterpretation, they reveal who we're becoming. Take care. Stay connected.